So as usual, I'm going to prime my skin. I'm going to use my favorite Kevyn Aucoin. This is their Neo Elixir oil. So I'm just going to use this to prime my face area. For oily skin girls, you might want to skip using facial oils because they tend to like get even more oily on oily skin girls. But for me, I have combination to dry, so it kind of helps my skin to have that hydration. So for the pores, it doesn't really covers up the pores. I like using my Tatcha silk canvas and I just like to dab it over my skin. So today I'm actually going to try out some new products along with like my holiday kind of makeup look. So the very first thing that I'm going to try on my face is a foundation, and it's by Maybelline. And this is their Dream Urban Cover Full Coverage Protective Makeup with Sunscreen of SPF of 50. And it's an antioxidant enriched pollution protection. So it does say that it protects you from any kind of pollution. And I picked out the shade 330, which is Toffee. This is a 30 ml product and I got mine at the Walmart. There are about 13 to 14 shades overall in this foundation range. So it's not like a wide shade range of foundation. So I got this for $10.90. Also, I will definitely list down all the details on the description bar below. I have been wanting to try this foundation for some time, so I decided to pick it up. So for this foundation, since it says that it's a full coverage foundation, I'm going to use a beauty sponge, and this one is by Derma. Once I've wet the sponge, it really like, it's bouncy and huge, and it's pretty soft as well. So I'm just going to give it a try. So this beauty sponge was actually sent to me by Derma, so I'll also share my thoughts on it. And I'm just going to put this at the back of my hands. I'm not 100% sure if this shade is like a true match for my skin, but let's just give it a go. It does have like a slight yellow undertone to it. I'm just going to put a little bit more because the product definitely soaks in. With this beauty sponge, it doesn't really give you like a full coverage. Like, my skin is still peeping through. With the second squeeze of the foundation, it has like a squeezy top. So I'm going to use my Real Techniques brush just with another squeeze of the foundation on the areas that I feel that I need a little bit coverage. And see how it works with a brush. I think I kind of prefer it with a brush instead, like just buffing it into the skin. I kind of feel like with the brush you use lesser product, and then you can go in with the beauty blender just to blend them all in. It's a nice foundation. It does blend in beautifully and it gives a nice look to the skin, like you got a very good looking skin. I kind of feel like 2 pumps or 1.5 pumps would work with a brush. You need to use more with a beauty blender. So I'm going to leave the foundation aside. We're going to apply the rest of the makeup on the face and then we'll come back to the foundation. So I'm just going to prime my eyelid. You can use any eyeshadow primers or foundation if that works for you. For me, foundation does crease on my eyelids. And I'm going to leave my eye primer to set in for a bit. Today I'm going to try 2 brow products. So I do not know how this actually works. These are from Benefit and it says that it's Gimme Brow Volumizing Fiber Gel, and it says that poof, fuller looking brows magically appear. This brush on gel contains tiny microfibers that adheres to skin and hairs, creating natural looking fullness and definition. Volumes, tames and tint brows looking more buildable, water resistant and long wear. So I'm going to try this one just in case if we do not need this. I'm not going to use the brow setter. I'm just going to try the brow volumizing gel first. So it comes very similar to the goof proof brow pencil that I totally love. So I'm just going to give this a go. I've never tried this before, so this was also sent to me by Benefit and Ipsy. Do you see any difference? I don't know. I don't see any difference as of yet. I'm not able to judge it yet, so we shall see. But there are some product which is coming out from the... there is some product coming out on this pulley, but I don't know how it works. I'm not seeing any massive difference with this, but I do see like it's pretty nicely done. I probably need to give it like a good go before I share my thoughts on this with you guys, and then I'm not very sure whether I would need to use this, but we will try this later on. So I believe that my eyeshadow is pretty tacky already. So today I'm actually going to do like a very random holiday makeup look that I personally wear around the house, like throughout Christmas, throughout the holidays, because most of the time we're at home and we're just hosting somebody or we're just with the family. So I do not really like wear like a dramatic makeup. I wear something that is very practical. So for that, I'm going to use my Anastasia powder bronzer in the shade Saddle, just to dab this around the crease area as a blending shade. I've already like applied that over my crease area. And for the eyeshadow, I'm going to use my chocolate base from Nude Stick on my lid area. Just going to blend this with my fingers. And for the eyeshadow over the lid area, I'm going to use this particular eyeshadow, and this one I believe I got it with like my Ipsy beauty subscription, but I really do not know where and what brand it is, but it's such a beautiful coppery shade. So I'm just going to dab the same brush, and this is the Sigma Diffuse Crease brush, so it's going to like apply like it in a diffused way, not intense. So I'm just going to put this on the lid area and blending it in towards the crease so that it doesn't leave any harsh line. Make sure you just blend them nicely. I noticed that the foundation does look a bit dewy, so for you guys who have oily skin, you may want to use a mattifying primer so that it does adhere to your skin. And I'm just going to apply the same shadow on the other side. Take a little bit more on the same brush, and then I'm just going to dab it before I blend. And now I'm just going to clean my brush lightly because we might need it later. And now I'm going to apply very little glitter like on my eye area. So this one has been my favorite. This one is from MCGrath Labs, and this is in the shade 005 Bronze. So this is actually more of like a pigment. So I'm actually going to use my fingers to apply this shadow. And you can see that this is really beautiful. I'm just going to dab it. I somehow do not like using my MCGrath eyeshadows with brushes, especially their shimmer ones or their pigments, because they tend not to show up when you use a brush. Fingers works the best. So you may want to work very, very slowly when it comes to this so that you get the shade blended well. So I'm going to do the same on this side of my eyes. And with this pigment you do get fallouts, so be prepared for that. So there were quite a lot of fallout like underneath my eye, so I cleaned it up. So I'm just going to use a random brown shade. This is from the Marc Jacobs palette in Wanderlust, just to even out the eyeshadows, like so that there's no harsh lines. So I'm going to leave that aside for now. I'm going to use my Marc Jacobs ever favorite eyeliner in the shade Earthquake. I'm just going to line my inner rim. This is an alternative for black eyeliner, so I kind of prefer like deep brown shades instead. So I'm going to apply my concealer and I'm going to set my makeup, and then I'll come back because it's a normal routine. So I'll do that and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm done applying concealer and also setting my foundation in. So I'm going to use the same bronzer from Anastasia Beverly Hills in the shade Saddle. I'm just going to bronze up my face area. So I like dabbing my bronzer in so that it locks in instead of like it kind of sweeps on the foundation. I kind of like to shape it with my Charlotte Tilbury. This is their Airbrush Flawless Finish number 3 dark. So I kind of use this brush just to shape this particular area and kind of dab it on this area, because this powder kind of like gives you the flawless effect. And for the blush, I'm going to use the Buxom's Wanderlust Primer Infused Blush in the shade Mykonos. So I'm just going to dab it. So with this blush you do not need like a separate highlighter at all, because it does give you like a beautiful glow. So I'm just going to apply it a little bit more. Sometimes we love to apply highlighters because it's holiday season, and for that I'm going to use the Melt. This is the highlight bronzer in the shade Nova. So I'm going to use my Anastasia highlight brush with that. So we're going to just quickly going to finish up with the eye, and I personally do like this foundation. I do not feel like it's tacky on the skin, but I can't really make up my mind with the Gimme Brow. This is again their Brow Volumizing Fiber Gel. If any of you have tried this, definitely share your thoughts with me, because I really do not know how it works. So I really can't make up my mind for the very first time, so that's fine. So I'm going to use a bronzer with a pencil brush and just lightly sweep it on the lower lash line. And for the lower lid, I'm going to use my Marc Jacobs. This is the Brownie eyeliner. So like I mentioned, this is more of like a wearable look for me because I'm mostly around the house for Christmas. So for the highlight for the brow area and also the inner corners, I'm going to use this palette from Charlotte Tilbury, and this is the Dolce Vita palette. You can use any shade that is like very comparable to this one, so you do not need to use an exact one. I'm just randomly picking it up. So I kind of lightly sprayed the Fix Plus over my face area just to even out the makeup. So to make this look even more classier, you can add eyeliners, you can add fake eyelashes. So those are things that I do not really meddle with on a day that I'm busy preparing meals. So for the lips, I do have a couple of options. You can go nude, you can go with a very bold lip. So I do have a couple of reds that I personally love. So I'm just going to do a swatch at the back of my hands to randomly show you guys my favorite ones. So one of it has to be from MAC. This is MAC's Matte in Russian Red, the famous red, and this is how Russian Red looks like. So it's really bold and beautiful. And MAC's matte lipsticks are one of my very favorite because they feel very comfortable on the lips. This one is in the shade Marrakesh. I love using this. I will show you guys how I like using this. So it's more of like a rusty shade, rusty orange shade, but it does wear very beautifully on the lips. The next one that I have here is Ruby Woo, another famous lipstick of MAC. And this is how Ruby Woo looks like. And I have a NARS lip pigment in the shade Star Woman. So I did get myself the NARS lipstick in the shade Inappropriate Red, which is arriving today unfortunately, so while I'm filming. So this is the shade Star Woman, and the other one that I really love is from Laura Mercier, and this is their Velour Extreme Matte Lipstick in the shade Dominate. So this is another comfy one. So this is how it looks like. So it has more of like a strawberry red to it. So today I'm actually going to apply the very same shade that I wore on my Instagram post for my Santa picture. So I'm actually going to use the shade Marrakesh, and then I'm going to use the shade Ruby Woo on the top. So I'm going to apply the shade Marrakesh. The other shade from MAC that I really love is Chili, but I couldn't find it. I was hunting for it. I do not know where I put the lipstick, but it's such an underrated shade from MAC, but it's a beautiful one. This is how Marrakesh looks like on its own, but I'm just going to use the Ruby Woo on the top. So this is how I like wearing my red lipstick, and I really love the combination of these two, which is MAC's Ruby Woo and also MAC's Marrakesh. So we're pretty much done with my holiday makeup look. So my hair is like an everyday hair. Most of the time I just put on a bun and I'm like this at home. So I like to randomly just talk about the Maybelline Dream Cover. I really like the foundation. I like how it wears on my skin. I believe that this is the closest match to my skin tone. So that's that. I like using it with my Real Techniques brush because I feel that it gives me a little bit more coverage, and then I blend it with my beauty blender or a beauty sponge, and this is from Derma E. It's a pretty good sponge. It does blend in pretty well. My concealer's blended in really well. And then coming to the Benefit Gimme Brow, the fiber gel, I really do not know how to judge it yet. When I'm looking at myself in my mirror, I find that it doesn't do much for me, but when I'm looking at the viewfinder of the camera, it kind of looks fine. So you guys probably can decide as well, and if you have tried it, definitely share with me your thoughts on it. And I did not try the 24 hours brow setter because I felt that this one should just set in as well. So We'll see in the coming videos. I'll probably share it with you guys. What are my thoughts on both of this? I'll give it like a continuous go to see whether I like it or not. So I do hope that you found my review, demo, and kind of like an holiday makeup look enjoyable and watchable. If you haven't subscribed to my channel, make sure you subscribe to my channel. Till I see you guys again, I would like to wish each one of you a blessed Christmas and happy holidays. Goodbye.